how important has your relationship with Justin Thomas been? Because I thought that the story and kind of, how it sort of, it came off almost like you just were like, I gotta tell somebody.
It got to that point, right? I had held it in for 4 months and I hadn't said it to anybody. And it was weird. We were playing in Minneapolis. I mean, I'll never forget it. We were playing with Joel Dame. We were a featured group, so cameras are everywhere. And Joel was off to the left, and JT and I were walking down the fairway, and he's like,
poor Joel's off to the left.
Yeah. He was looking for crappy.
Anybody,
horrible
looking
shots.
for tailor-made too.
We finally got some privacy here.
I think the wing got it, Joel. It wasn't a bad shot. The wing probably left. But JT's like, G-Dub, how you doing? And it wasn't like, what's up? Like, JT and I talk a decent amount, but it was like somebody was telling me, hey, he's asking you how you're doing in life. And I'm like, I wanted to tell him. I literally was getting ready to. Finally brought him, like, 4 months, I'm finally going to tell somebody, and there's a boom mic sitting right next to us. I'm like, I'll tell you later. And I kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of forgot about it. I'm like, it's not the right time. I shouldn't tell anybody. And the next day, he's like, Gina, what were you going to say to me yesterday? And it was Friday. It was cut day. Both JT was struggling last year as well. And I'm like, JT, I got a brain tumor, man. It was on 15. He bogeyed 15, 16, 17. He says he didn't, but he did. He missed the cut by one.
He did.
He blames it on me. We can.
Right.
But to be honest with you, it was a massive relief for me. And I still didn't tell anybody else, but just the fact that somebody else knew was huge. And I've seen the episode, since it came out, and it was one of those where I told my son.
Oh, the seagull.
Oh, speaking to the guy.
Doing seagull things.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, it's something I've struggled. People ask me for crap. I'm not usually asking for somebody.
Yeah.
And for JT just to ask randomly, how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, it was a massive release for me, and something that hopefully people don't hold stuff in too much. Hopefully you find somebody to talk to, because it definitely helped me. It was definitely a massive release for me.
And you kind of talked about how he's followed up with you just nonstop.
He is. He's checked in. He's like, the little kid in the relationship. I'm supposed to be the adult checking in on him, trying to take him under my wing a little bit, but he's been massive for me, just randomly checking in how I'm doing really on a weekly basis. I still get too many MRIs done all the time, and he's checking how they're doing, how the meds going. So it's been nice to have somebody out here checking in on me on a weekly basis.
Well, and when you're battling something like this as well, it takes a huge community around you as a support structure.
Yeah.
Somebody that we both know together is Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney of the Folds of Honor, and I know that he was the one that did your wedding and everything, and just having somebody like that in your corner to be a part of this process as well.
That's why we did the show. My wife is petrified of a camera, wants nothing to do with cameras around. My kids thought it was the greatest thing ever. But
it's awesome.
I wanted to tell the story from the standpoint, I am surrounded by amazing people. I mean, the golf world, the players, the caddies, the tour, the media, everyone has been so amazing to me and helped me. It pains me to think somebody's out there and doesn't have that.
Right.
And so hopefully they can see my story and be like, if this guy can get through it, I can get through it. And I battle every day. I got still going on in my head every day. That somebody be like, I'm not alone. This guy's going through it too. And so that's why we did the show. That's why we told the story. Netflix was amazing. The tour was amazing to open up that avenue, to give us a platform to speak on. And we're definitely thankful for that.
It's just a perspective thing too for the viewers, man. Like, even if you're not going through something like that, like for me, like I'm about to have my first kid in 7 weeks, and like watching you with your kids, man, like, I mean, you're not gonna make me cry on a podcast here, but like I'm about to go into that and like see it, and just like seeing like what that meant to you. And like, for me, I'm just going through the motions. Like, everyone tells you, oh, it's going to be the greatest thing in your life, and you don't know it until it happens, right? And for me, I'm watching you sit there. I'm sitting there in a hotel room, like watching on my iPad. I'm like, oh my God, like this is real. Like this is actually going to change me, because look at the effect it's having on you. Like, you're writing those letters. You're like to me, I couldn't even put myself in that position yet, because I'm just living my own life right now.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, honestly, thank you for like, that really changed my perspective on what I'm about to go through, because it really showed me like this is something way more than I anticipated.
I appreciate that. It's my kids especially, they put things in perspective real quick, right? I mean, the birdies and bogeys don't matter when I come home. They just want dad home. And that's what was so hard for me through this whole thing was I had a lot of bogeys last year. There weren't many birdies, but when I came home, I still couldn't deal with the stimulation. My kids were I'd have to leave the room.
Yeah.
And they're young, they don't understand. So
Right.
my wife would have to, one, come checking on me while I'm laying in a dark room, and then going out and telling the kids that daddy's not feeling well. Like, what, daddy's home. He's finally home. Why can't he be with us? And
Right.
that was that was hard.
And you're like, in your mind, you're Superman. You won the U.S. Open. You
Right.
played basketball. You're PJ Tour pro. Everything's going great.
Handsome
Money,
cat.
handsome cat. Like, you know. And it's
teeth.
like probably it's got to be such a struggle to be like, why is this not going perfect?
Well, and that's why it was such a shock for me when this all started. Was like, I mean, I'm young. I'm
It's impossible.
athletic. Like, what the hell's? Am I going crazy right now? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And it came out of nowhere, and that's the crazy thing. If you can never be too safe, I guess. I mean, it's always, this can happen to anybody.